Welcome to Moving Beyond Spaghetti Testing. I am Haley Carpenter. I'm a senior CX strategist here at Spiro. I've been with the company for almost 2 years now, and I do things like user research and build and run experimentation programs. I have and have had clients across all kinds of industries. And so I am here today to speak to you a little bit about what I do day to day. And I'm on LinkedIn, I'm active, and I love to connect with people. So if you like my talk today, I would love to hear from you on LinkedIn. But enough about me, let's jump into it. So here I have a GIF of an adorable child getting spaghetti thrown in his face. And you might be wondering why. Well, let me start by saying, I'm guessing that some of you watching this talk are in charge of optimization and experimentation, at least to some extent within your company. And how many of you either have no prioritization framework and no processes and methodologies for research, or you have something that's kind of wonky, works okay, but isn't great, and your program is just a little bit messy and not necessarily as focused as it could be. And also how many of you have dealt with what we call hippos, where they just come in or someone comes in and frequently just bulldozes your efforts. There's no real framework or mechanism to help decide what to do, when to do it, how to do it, etc. I'm guessing quite a few of you have raised your hands at this point, and what I'm going to talk about today will absolutely help with these scenarios and help your programs immediately. And so with that said, I'll dive back into why this GIF is here. And something in the industry, or a term that is quite well known in the industry, is spaghetti testing. And if you make spaghetti ever, you may have heard the trick that when the noodles are boiling, if you pick one out at random and fling it against the wall, if it sticks, that means that your pasta is ready. Well, similarly with testing, if you don't have a prioritization framework and you don't really have any methodologies or a system to what you're doing, say you just have a list of test ideas based on research or gut feelings, you're kind of just picking one out at random, flinging it against the wall when you're ready to test it and hoping that it wins. That's a terrible way to go about testing. Unfortunately, it's quite common, more common than you would probably think. And my hope is that today, for whoever is on the call doing that, you'll stop, no more spaghetti testing, and that you'll go back and use these systems that I'm going to share with you today. So with that said, I'll be covering our research Excel model, which will tell you how to go about conducting research and where, and our PXL and prioritization framework, and a little bit more behind the scenes of how we go about classifying tests. So first is our research Excel model. This is proprietary to us. You'll see this molecule here with all these circles on the outside. Those are all of the research methods. And if you don't have a structure like this guiding your efforts, I'm guessing some people on this presentation here, you know of these methods, but maybe just every couple months or every month, you know you need to be doing research of some kind. You're just like, seems like a good time to do analytics research. Maybe it's a good time to do a poll. I don't know, maybe we'll do some copy testing. Well, this model will help you ensure that you cover all of the different types of research areas that you should be looking at, as well as ensure that you have a good mix of quantitative and qualitative data, and make sure that you cover all of the primary areas of optimization as well, like behavior, friction, fuzz, etc. You can see those on the outside of the molecule. And the idea is that all of those different research methodologies on the outside of the molecule work together to get those insights in the middle in that red circle that you're looking for. You can triangulate insights to be more confident in them, to get things going up and to the right, as I say in charts, to get your performance where it needs to be, where you're looking to get it, right? Where everyone is holding you accountable. And I'm not going to run through how to do every single one of these research methods today. That's a whole other set of training. We'd be here for a while, but there are all kinds of resources on the internet that can help you with this. And shameless plug here, go check out CXL if you're not familiar with it, or if you, if you haven't done anything with CXL. They truly are the best training program in, I would say, the world. I'm biased, of course, because I work here, but also truly it is amazing training. So there's a lot out there. If you're not sure how to go about these different research methods, we do all of these all at once for a research project, but that's a lot and can require a lot of resources. So don't get overwhelmed. If you want, you can just pick one of these to start with and go from there. But this absolutely should be your North Star for research. And then once you get your research done, whether it's one of the methods, ideally multiple, at least 2 or 3, or all of these, you'll come away with a list of research insights, but then they're not prioritized necessarily, right? You'll have them and people will ask you, well, what should we do first? How do we go about this? What do I do with this? And they'll be overwhelmed. Well, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Don't worry. One thing that we do with those research insights is we put them into Airtable. We are tool agnostic, so put them in whatever tool you want. It can be really helpful, but we essentially database them, put them into Airtable, and then categorize them in different ways. So one way we do that is through issue classification, where we have these 5 buckets. These buckets stay consistent across research projects because, of course, you'll have your tests. Not everything is a test, right? Some things you'll have to investigate. Some things are an instrumentation issue. Others still need some more hypothesizing, maybe some internal discussion where you have a high-level idea, but no specific solution quite yet. So that's that bucket. And then, of course, we have just do it, where it's a no-brainer. It's quick, it's easy. Don't need to test it, and it's a just do it. We call those JDIs. So you classify all of your insights into one of these buckets. And in Airtable, that's a super handy way to do that, because you can just have a column and drop downs with labels, right, and group them. And so that's how we do it. And then another way that we strategize and prioritize tests is through that PXL. And we did our experimentation benchmark report recently, and this stat is mind-blowing to me, but only 18% of respondents for that report, which there's a link here, I encourage you to check it out, but 18% of respondents strongly agreed that hypotheses in their company are prioritized objectively. What? That's such a low number. Everyone should be doing this, and it's truly easy. So I hope that we can get this number up. And here's our PXL framework. It is essentially an expanded ICE model where you look at impact, confidence, and effort, but in more granular ways. You could use a pie, or there's all kinds of models out there. But I really do love the PXL because it is objective, easy to use, customizable, scalable, and it is one of the best ones that I've used. So I would encourage you to check it out, at least try it. I have a link down here to a template so you can immediately use this, but we have it broken out here with the standard metrics that we use. You can use it as is if you want. That's completely acceptable. We do it for a lot of projects. Or if you want to customize it a little bit to your use case, you can add maybe some other research methodologies. You can customize this effort scale if that looks a bit different for you. And then it's good to go. And then you put all of your insights over here on the left. If this was an Airtable, you could have a column, like I said, with drop downs for those issue classification buckets that you can group by as well. But with the PXL specifically, you just go line by line and score everything. And then you get that final score on the right, sort highest to lowest. I do encourage you, once you have scored all of your insights, to double check that the order does make sense. Sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes you need to do a little bit of tweaking, maybe add a metric or change the scoring, maybe weight something a little bit more heavily with more points, perhaps like a 0 or a 3, but it is quite straightforward. So you have your research. methodology or your framework now with the Research Excel. You know how to classify your issues. I told you that we put things in Airtable, and then you have the PXL framework as well and a template for that. So go back, implement these things, use them right away. No more spaghetti and testing, and good luck.